that I was talking about, they've only been able to execute it with it twice, and once in an official, it just got absolutely trounced by LGD. So I thought they might try to bring it back and show us what they can do and what ISIS can do with that new Echo Stomp. But we're going back to the tried and true, the Darkseer for Ice, and that vacuum is going to be a huge factor here. I think that there's actually some potential for them to actually go aggressive with the Leshrac Earthshaker +1 and leave the Darkseer to 1v1 the Clockwork. And if they can manage that, then this Clockwork is not going to get the lane that he was looking for.
Yeah, it really does depend on how they want to lane it now. As you're saying, Darkseer can still be zoned out properly in the off lane if CDEC do pick up something good, and if that happens, then you might want to do that Darkseer Clockwork 1v1 situation in the bottom lane. It really just depends on these next few picks here from CDEC. A good hero in this situation from CDEC is probably Rubik. You can steal Fissure, you can steal Vacuum, even Wall's not too bad to steal. Leshrac, Stun, Lightning, I mean, these are amazing spells. But instead, they're going to be going for Witch Doctor. This has nice synergy as well. You can always cast, stun, bounces. I mean, you can see a lot of team fights turn around if you can get some cast on the hookshotted targets. Still, Clockwork's really good against these heroes, besides the vacuuming out of the cogs. Like, if you can vacuum somebody out of the cogs, then it's like, oh, well, that could be very bad, depending on the position of where the vacuum goes.
Yeah, I think that you make a lot of good points there. I think Clockwork actually has tons of potential, especially against Leshrac and Earthshaker. If you catch them isolated in the cogs and the battery assaults on them, then they're not going to be able to cast their spells. They're not going to be able to really counteract you, unless they're, obviously the ultimates are instant, but everything else is a pretty long cast windup. So I think the Clockwork has some real good potential for him to stay on his target, at least until this last pick came out. The Disruptor Glimpse is actually a really good counter to it.
Just so countered it. I mean, the Darkseer is a half counter, and then the Disruptor is like a full counter.
Exactly, and it's also a really good counter to the other two heroes. I mean, Queen of Pain blinks away defensively, glimpse back into a death trap, and with Witch Doctor relying on keeping his distance so he can get that death ward off. But when you've got a pseudo stun that comes out with a range of up to 1800, there's just no safe place unless you're completely out of their detection. You have to go Glimmer Cave very early, and you have to just try to find that sweet spot where in the trees somewhere you can find that channel. And I guess we're going to be seeing a support Phoenix here in addition to the Witch Doctor. I'm with you, man. I think the Rubik would have been really strong. I mean, Lash, Earthshaker, Darkseer, these are heroes you really want to spell steal from, but they're going to go with the Phoenix, which, I don't know.
They could do dual lanes with it. Phoenix Clock can maybe potentially take off the off lane, and they can get a lot done. Witch Doctor +1 top. I mean, the biggest thing that I was going to talk about now is, against this lineup, you kind of mentioned a little bit, they need to Glimmer Cape ASAP on CDEC if they want to have any chance against all this magical damage, and as well as they need BKB heroes. Queen of Pain is a BKB hero. Normally you'll see it as a third item, though. Normally you want to rush Ags into something, maybe Orchid, and then BKB. So now with the Phoenix, that's another hero that's kind of like, okay, well, we have an ultimate, it's like the Brewmaster with the split. You don't really need to get the BKB, but Phoenix is great against all of these heroes, unless you get locked down. So they have a lot. I don't know. They still need another BKB hero for me, is what I'm trying to get at for CDEC. Maybe a I want to say Dragon Knight, but Dragon Knight kind of gets trounced by Lesh mid. Yeah, I don't know. And it's going to be a carry for top lane, though. Queen of Pain's going to be going mid. What can really combat against the Juggernaut, now picked up from VG? This is so scary, this VG lineup.
Not sure if they want to run it this time around. They've been avoiding it for a while, but it's interesting that Gyrocopter's still in the pool, whereas he's a very common first pick. In this case, he might be the last pick, in the fact that he has not been banned or picked to this point. So, I mean, Gyrocopter is the most played hero by Aggressive this month, so I can see some value there. Otherwise, he does favor heroes like the Phantom Lancer as well, so maybe he tries for something that can dodge out of that Omni Slash and stay very active.
I think Seven is really good here, honestly. This is... You have armor. Okay, so I know it's not going to get picked because normally it never does, but Seven would be great here for me, at least, because if you use your Warcry against the Juggernaut ultimate, at the same time, it reduces all the damage, a lot of the damage. You get that bonus 20 armor right then on the spot. You'll have PB user, which you desperately need. Gyrocopter does fulfill fulfill that role eventually. You need to have an AoE to clear out a lot of the illusions that are going to be created from Darkseer's wall, and you also need a stun, I think. Another reliable stun is always great to have, but still you have a lot of AoE from Gyrocopter. As you mentioned, it's still a good hero for here, but he really does need to get the BKB ASAP.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to nearly have to rush that. Maybe you can afford to go drums, at most Yasha if you're having a really good game, and then you have to go for that BKB, or you're just going to be obliterated here. And I like the idea of the Sven in a couple ways, but there's a couple factors there. First of all, like, you don't really have any way of guaranteeing the Sven's going to be able to do that much. Stun's okay, but like the actual like cleave effect isn't really going to come into play. Another thing is
it's not that great against 2 in the early.
Long term, the Vacuum plus Battle Fury combo could come out. That if you are afraid of Warcry reducing your armor, or increasing the armor of your opponents, then just go Battle Fury, and that Vacuum Omni Slash will go do damage that isn't mitigated by armor. So I would see that as a pretty good response under those circumstances. But either way, like we said, Aggressive likes this Gyrocopter, and it's just going to be on him to perform a little bit better this time around. Obviously, he's still kind of going to have some issues against the Iron Shell with only 365 attack range, but if he manages the lane pretty well, I think that there's still a decent chance for him.
Yeah, this will be interesting. It's really tough when you're playing a Clockwork against a Disruptor, though. He immediately gets countered out. That sucks. And you at least hope to maybe cancel one block, maybe get it to the 3 minute or the 1 minute mark. Maybe they'll miss 2 creep camp pools.
Yeah.
And well,
but, I mean, it's really difficult with what FY did just happened. He TP'd down to the bottom tier 1. He immediately gets a lane ward down here. And while this is only, like, it's decent in the laning phase, I think it's actually the most important value from it is in the pre-laning phase, where essentially you always see Clockwork moving into the jungle. You know where he's going to place the wards, and therefore you have guaranteed sentry play. So with this TP, attempted to snipe the boundary run a little bit too early there from the Phoenix. But, yeah, in that situation, I feel like, okay, well, if your support TP is down, bringing in that observer, bringing in sentries, there's no way that Clockwork is actually able to block anything off, and it's pretty much guaranteeing his jungle with a pretty hefty early game gold investment.
Yeah, well, VG's lineup's very scary, a lot of AoE. It's going to be on Clockwork to really control this tempo. It was as it was last game. It's kind of felt like it was all on Void. Now this game is kind of all on Clockwork to make a lot of space. Sure, you had the Queen of Pain to fall back on. You had it last game, though, and it didn't work out for you, so we'll have to see.
We're going to see double Iron Shell already kind of thwarting Aggressive's plans to try to go for some early damage against the Darkseer. Garter can put in a couple of right clicks here. 58 damage against the Stout Shield, though. He's still going to be losing out on this trade. Down bottom, we're going to see a nice opportunity for a Fisher here. Fenrir will block out XZ, so despite the cogs, XZ is going to be taking some massive damage from the right clicks long term, and Juggernaut might go for the spin here. Yes, he's right on XZ. XZ is going to be the first blood here, and that is going to be giving Vichy Gaming a really great start. Fenrir starting off mid, kind of helping out the Leshrac a little bit, but finding an opportunity bottom, while Ice continues to kind of do the hit trading action on the top lane. Yeah,
and it's very unfortunate your Clockwork's going down here, and when your Phoenix is down here, it hurts you too, because you're sharing this EXP, which you could be having just for your solo Clockwork, and well, we're going to be seeing him go away a little bit. Thought he was gonna maybe go away so he can give XZ some levels, because like I'm saying, he needs as much levels as possible, and he's not gonna be getting them right now with this dual lane.
Ice just really messing with the Gyrocopter here, going behind enemy heroes just to get the Iron Shells down, and then as soon as that's pushed out, goes for the top rune spawn for this 2 minute mark. But we're going to see a 2v1 here. Shiki gets involved. There's going to have to be a surge away from that Shadow Strike, and it's actually going to be the Queen of Pain to get a regen rune. So although she doesn't get much value out of it, as Darkseer does immediately pop that, it's still going to be Ice forced back to base in the end, I think. I mean, he's tangoing, he's clarity. No, he's gonna pop all his regen, say screw it, I can go for at least one more set of Iron Shells, and that might put me to the Soul Ring early.
Yep. Ice is doing really well for himself too. I think if they had the Rubik, as we were talking about a little bit earlier, it would have been a lot easier to zone him out. I mean, they have a stun cast now.
Yeah.
Will he catch up? He will, but it's not going to be enough damage to really bring him down unless they really do dive.
Yeah, they would have to dive
farther.
extremely far here. Is there going to be a TP coming in? Ice just continuing to move about. Will be able to just surge, or will he try to fight? He almost looked like he was going to go for an Iron Shell there. And he does end up throwing one out against Garter, who takes the tower shot as well. Massive damage coming in for Garter, and that's going to be TP coming in from the Earthshaker. Oh no, it's going to be FY. FY with the glimpse, going to be coming in range and pulling him back, and that is going to be the death of the Witch Doctor, thanks to the Iron Shield, thanks to the right clicks. And Aggressive going to try to turn it back around with the help of Q, but in the end they're fighting too many creeps, and they're just going to have to get out of dodge.
This Iron Shell creep, he's just like taking them to the clinic right now. And, well, this Ice is getting so much work in this offlane, and nice dive away there.
Yeah, could have been a close call if the Fisher did come out, halting it halfway, but Fenrir not able to connect with that. He just kind of meandered up that way. With the 310 base movement speed and then the boots early, the Earthshaker still was able to get involved just after an extended period of time. Now Shiki's going to get hit by a stun. It's going to set up the splitters. They just need one more Lightning Storm, and they will get it. Super fighting himself a kill against the enemy solo mid, jumping up here almost to level 6 already. Queen of Pain just barely into level 5.
Yep, that's just what happens when you have Earthshaker roaming around effectively. You always have to be on your P's and Q's. I mean, you're already laning. This laning matchup is really hard for Quap in itself. Like, it should be even, as you see the CS. Leshrac can come up a little bit ahead depending on how many lightning harassments and split Earths he can land, and as well as the rune control. That's probably the biggest factor. But still, the rotation, really nice. And I mean, it's just the same thing kind of happening again. VG just kind of rolling over.
Yeah, just executing a little bit better with their spells, and that I think a big aspect of how this early game is playing out is that dive that CDEC put out behind the tier 1 tower. If they were able to find the Darkseer with just a little bit more damage, absolutely fine, great. They find a great kill, they don't get lose the hero in return, but as it was, they dove a hero they just couldn't bring down. Darkseer having 7 armor, having the stout shield, and now having boots as well. Like, it's just Ice is able to survive, is able to tank through a couple of battery assaults and come out the other side still feeling pretty good about himself. So now he's level 4. He's about to pick up this Soul Ring, and at that point, what can a Witch Doctor do? A level 2 Witch Doctor?
Yeah, look at Earthshaker, man. He's level 4. This is insane. A level 4 Earthshaker at 5 minutes in the game. This is really unheard of, and he's going for that long-range fissure. You can look at it. He is in range, not now, but when he was near the cliff. Now he's in range for the fissure here. So there it goes, just harassing him a bit.
Scaring Cheeky a little bit. Blink is going to be put on cooldown here, but they need a little bit more.
Top lane, surge away. Ice is going to be stunned here. They don't have any stuns. He could TP away. Oh, I didn't buy one.
Yeah, but he goes through the tree line here, tangoing through, just going for the long run, gonna go for the surge, but the Maledict will bring him down. The first kill for CDEC will be spilled here, and yeah, I'm quite surprised he didn't actually just go for the TP play.
Maybe he thought the burst damage was going to be too much coming in from the Gyro Rocket Barrage, but
I think that he actually just thought that he could juke it. I thought that he thought that he could get the distance with the tree cut, with the surge, and would come out just fine. Still, because essentially when you go for the TP home, the thing is you're all the way back to the fountain. You have to surge back to the lane. Whereas if you can just make that juke successfully and only lose like a quarter of your HP, you're continuing to spam Iron Shells. You're being a huge nuisance, and you don't leave the lane for a second. So I guess it's just the risk-reward factor there, and he thought he could get the distance, because he definitely wouldn't have fallen in that 3-second channel.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit better for CDEC. They're getting in control of over the VG lineup, but still, Darkseer Ice is getting a lot done in the offlane. I don't think he should have got that much space. That dive really did hurt them. But on the meanwhile, Clockwork still, they can't stop him from getting his levels. He's 5 as well, and once he gets level 6, I really want to see how his rotations go, because it really is all on XZ, man. This is your game. If you don't shine, it's kind of like you're gonna go home, CDEC. So
yeah. So I'm looking at this Disruptor skill build. For FY going for the 1-1-1 here at level 3 on the Disruptor. One thing I'll note is that I have seen a little bit more of 2 points in glimpse at level 3 from a few different disruptor players in the Western scene. Do you have any preference here as far as the value between the 1-1-1 versus getting that extra point and extra range in glimpse?
It depends on your other heroes. When you have an Earthshaker, I think the 1-1-1, I'll wave it, Omni Slash on the Clockwork, just woo, How taking him to the town, the clinic, and the streamed.
Nice rotation there from Shiki. That actually is a favorable trade, even with the massive cooldown that Queen of Pain brings. The fact that Omni Slash was committed as well, you can call that a pretty direct 1-for-1, and killing off the Juggernaut there is huge. So, yeah, it's not what they intended with the Clockwork getting picked off, but they're able to make the best of it, and it's looking pretty good. No Diabolic Edict is also important here. If the Leshrac had Diabolic Edict, I was able to just push hard on that tower, then that would have been a problematic factor with the tier 1 going down so quickly. But Super just going for the wave clear and teamfight damage build, and they're actually going to converge against him right now. Icarus Dive and Shadow Strike will slow him down quite a bit, but Fenrir's got his back.
Yeah, they can't go for that dive, but we'll see what they want to do. They're going to pressure mid here a little bit. And they don't have any edicts, so they can't really take the tower, but they can apply a bit here. And notice that Super did go for the phase boots. He is still kind of squishy, but with Queen of Pain having the Sonic Wave on cooldown, I think he can be a little bit safe.
Yeah, we're going to see a smoke play come through. Dire do not sense this whatsoever. All their warriors are on their side of the map. They're playing it very passively. We'll keep an eye on the Clockwork, who's trying to just find his level 6 here, but he's just kind of hanging out with that 1v1 matchup. It's going to be that rotation onto the Gyrocopter that most likely nets the kill. So back up top, we're seeing Aggressive farming under tower, and we've got some long-range spells to try to pick him off here. Fenrir just outside of tower range, but Aggressive going all the way back. It may have been pinged out, indicated that there was a real threat, and we're going to see maybe a jungle clash in just a moment here. Darkseer baiting it in, Super getting the phase boot forward, but doesn't connect with the Split Earth, and it's just going to be called down, wasted, and both sides falling back.
Yeah, just disengage here. Now Phoenix, let's look at him. He's got level 4. He's going to be working with his Tranquils now when they get up online, and he needs to get some me time. Want to get that level 6, because the only thing they really have for him is the Juggernaut once he gets the Mask of Madness. That's going to be great. Oh, bottom lane. Yeah,
nice pickup on FY already, and now he combos up both of his spells. The Omni Slash following through. Aggressive can't fall here, but he will. The spin doing just enough damage. How will kill his Nemesis carry, and that is going to be a huge pickup in exchange.
Oh, mid lane, they're going to get stun on him. He's stunned by the Icarus Dive.
Oh, wow. Easy. That is incredible, actually. Super able to find that opportunity. Really, really nice positioning. Nice timing there, and that's why maybe you go for that third point in Split Earth. Like, usually you want to see the ulti picked up at 6, but getting that third point in Split Earth allows you to get slightly greater radius in your stuns, and of course with the phase boots you get him that position faster. So finding a stun where you
ran into a lightning, because Super was just farming the creep wave, and then he was just like casually, using lightning storm to CS, and then all of a sudden, bam. But, and like just bam, there goes bottom lane. They have a sentry down for Shiki, but there's no ultimate online for Static Storm, else he would be dead. But they do have a fissure coming out here, probably. And they have the glimpse too.
Glimpse. Oh, we can't get it, just out of range. They had sight thanks to the Thunder Strike, but they're not able to fall back. Now FY puts himself in a really awkward spot here. Shiki's got the Sonic Wave. We'll see how quickly he drops it down. Trying to go for 2 here with the full cone. FY will go down first, and it's going to be a nice combo from the Earthshaker, unless Shiki still gets the ulti off of the cask. Bounce over to the Shaker. Ends up being a 2-for-3 favoring CDEC, and now Super completely out of mana, has to make his way home. So really nice bounces coming in from that Paralyzing Cask. The 3-1-1 build from the Witch Doctor making it happen, and Shiki finding the ulti he needed here. Still up top, Darkseer will be able to take it down. We saw the tower kind of being very gradually taken down, and of course that Iron Shell push and wave clear just allows the Darkseer to become one of the most farmed heroes on the map. Mechanism already up at 12 minutes.
Yeah, I would say the trade is way better for VG. Even though they did lose 3 heroes, it was a 3-for-1 trade. It sucked that Earthshaker didn't have mana for his Echo Slam too. They still managed to get enough space for Darkseer to get his mech. Ice with a mechanism online is going to turn these team fights around. But at the same time, Phoenix did get some levels. He's almost his levels 4 or 5. He just stole some EXP from Ice, and Well, maybe you can catch him now.
Nah, I'm just gonna go for the TP way. It's very safe, getting the mechanism up now, and in the meantime, Shiki's actually getting a huge stack here. Just gonna be able to scream this down. Cask actually gonna take a few of these, thanks to the fact that it stuns the creep longer and has some random factors, but Shiki's still going to be able to claim every single last hit here, which is actually huge, as he's going to be able to jump up to 1,000 gold in his pocket on top of all these juicy stat items. So what do you look for on the Queen of Pain in this type of game? You know that you're up against the Disruptor, you know that he has a lot of tools that can really frustrate you. Do you go for the BKB rush in order to prevent things like Glimpse and Static Storm, or do you just go for like a self-heals to try to at least nullify the ultimate, though the Glimpse will counter it?
Yep, and the scary part is that Super almost has his blood zone. That's when life becomes hell, and they're gonna dive this tower. They have eyes almost on XC. Yep, they do. They just placed the ward, so now they know he's hiding over there.
Yep, good vision, good intel. We'll see them. Oh, the ward is pinged out. It is too far into the dire tier 1, and XC makes the TP away. So a pretty unfortunate mistake there that cost them a little bit of sight, a little bit of cash, and potentially the kill. If he didn't know about that ward, he probably would have moved a little differently there. But either way, he hides out on the trees, and he will make it out fine. In the meantime, though, this tower is going to take some massive damage. The Darkseer has the mech and the wall to back it up, and of course, you've got the level 1 healing ward from Hao. So with a little bit of Edict action, this tier 1 will drop down readily, and that is going to be a last hit to the Radiant proper. So they're going to be able to spread that gold amongst all 5.
Well, so far, VG taking over the map.
To answer the question, Shiki's actually going for point booster, so looking most likely at an Aghanim Scepter. Against the Disruptor, do you feel like that's an appropriate build-up, or could it be a costly mistake?
Well, they're getting pressured hard. What you want to do is you still have the Clockwork to hookshot in. You have the Phoenix Egg. If you have these ultimates to always be spamming out and you don't get caught first, and you can always throw out the ultimates here and there, you really need to stop the pushes coming in from VG too. So I'd say get Ags first. Else, if you get a BKB first, it really does slow down your farming progression by a lot and your team fight presence. So I would say BKB is essential, but get it next. So I think Ags is okay.
Okay, so, I mean, we'll have to look at the timing to see if that's the worthwhile choice. He's level 11. Once he gets it, he's going to be able to maybe just make a non-committal counter push by just ulting down creep waves. Obviously, in the team fights, it'll be huge. But yeah, I would say it's the best case scenario item. Like, if they start executing perfectly in the fights, getting all their ultis off the way they want to, then this Ags progression is going to be huge. But if Vici just keep on dominating the early fights, then they're going to be in a pretty sore spot no matter what he picks up. Double damage room popped on the Queen of Pain, and 2 smokes expended. They're just going to be making their way across the map, completely different paths, but Hao's going to be the one to be found out. Considers the Omni, instead goes for the spin TP. No TP, in fact, so XC might be able to catch him out here with that hookshot, but in the end, they back off. They look for an easier kill, since they have this Observer Ward in the creeps scouting out Fenrir. So they just want to open up on the Earthshaker. A nice Fisher, kind of blocking them off, and there's going to be an early Supernova to try to bring them all down. Shiki taking some major damage. He's going to not get the Sonic Wave off. Will be stunned out too much. Death Ward coming through, kills off one. Hao just going to man up with the right clicks here, and he's going to bring him down first. Now we're going to see the Lightning Storm and the Glimpse come into play, and will be preventing Phoenix from retreating. Aggressive turns it onto Hao with the battery assault, but just can't do enough damage and is now caught in Static Storm. Right clicks down Hao. 1 for 1. He still gets the kill on the carry, but it is a 5-man wipe in favor of Vici Gaming. So while a couple of those trades and movements weren't ideal for Vici, overall that's a great fight for them, and it will continue to build momentum towards their tier 2 pressure.
Yeah, the reason why they didn't start off with a hookshot onto the Juggernaut is because he would have just immediately Omni / Clockwork and he would have got blown up because his team was out of position and they were just like, hey, we're going to go for this top tower, kill. The problem is Clockwork was their only initiator and he was by the Jug. So when you dive that tower and then your Queen of Pain blinks in aggressively like that, she immediately gets blown up because CDEC are out of position and they just flanked from behind from VG and got nice Leshrac stuns on him, and he's already slowed and everything. It's just very hard to win a team fight when your Queen of Pain doesn't even get off any of your spells.
Yeah. The fight would have been insanely good if the Juggernaut hadn't run back in. I think they still get the kill on Aggressive without House contribution, and him kind of manning up against the right clicks of the Gyrocopter in this case doesn't actually favor him. But still, overall, they're very happy with the state of the game, and we're actually going to see some damage potentially coming in on the mid lane now that Super is invis. Just gets the stun out here, going to be looking for the quick glimpse back. Not timed perfectly, but it doesn't matter. With that insane range, FY still locks him down, and the Fisher hits on the Witch Doctor, so the Death Ward is cancelled. Super will still go down thanks to that Sonic Wave, and they'll look to pursue a little bit with that Sun Ray. Need to get the call down, but not going to be...
I mean, they just got fully healed because of the Blood Zone, but here they come. They want more blood. Call down.
Nice 3-man call down, hitting twice onto 2 heroes, but still forcing forward for the glimpse back. They really want to force his engagement, and they actually don't get enough stuns on Aggressive. He's still fighting it, and he's going to get healed up maybe a little bit by that Sun Ray. Now heads for the hills here, and we're going to be looking for that glimpse cooldown coming up in 6 seconds time, but for now it's going to be the How. Omni Slash onto 2, bringing down the Witch Doctor next to Clockwork, and he'll just spin away from that Phoenix. So now back over to the Gyrocopter. He gets killed off by a very nice 4-staff play coming in. FY God with the 4-staff ×2, setting up the Leshrac for the combo, and that is a huge kill to find. Now 3 for 1 if you want to count Super. Obviously his quick respawn brought him back to the fight, but he was involved initially. So in the end, CDEC, they lose their fight again, and they lose the tower. Some great stuns coming in from Fenrir.
Yeah, once VG keep winning these team fights, they keep on taking objectives too. It's just very hard when CDEC can never win a team fight. It was the story last game. They didn't get any towers. This game, they're still not getting any towers. They're getting kills in the earlier stages of the game, but they're not transitioning to more. And it just comes down to the team fights early on. CDEC have to play perfect because they did get outpicked this game, and they're not playing perfect, and they're just kind of getting rolled over now.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting now we're going to be seeing Darkseer, Ice go for similar key item pickup now in this game. He already started off with the Mech and the Arcanes, but instead of going into like Guardian Greaves or something, which you can still pick up much later in the game and that'd be fine, he goes for this Pipe of Insight. He's going to have it maybe 21, 22 minutes in, and it's going to actually be really nice in the sense that they don't even have to worry about the Phoenix Egg anymore. Like, even if that Phoenix hits level 11...
And the call down plus... Yeah. I mean, there's just a lot to negate.
Yeah. Every single fight, those 2 spells will be...
He just missed the hook shot on Super. That was a free kill, too. And I actually had a 4-staff, so... Yeah.
They have 2 4-staves now, so it's not the easiest pickup, no matter how it works out for you. And they make the attempt. They unfortunately don't connect, and in the end, they might be better for it with the potential TP rotations. We've seen FY pretty much punish any type of overextension. Anytime you're even like this far out on the map, they're going to be able to pull you back, and they have great wards for it. You look at the Radiant Observer wards. This one's about to expire, but they see Aggressive, at least for the moment, and they're going to try to run him down. All they need is vision, and no glimpse. No glimpse coming out. As How keeps in pursuit all the way to the fountain, and this guy has no fear.
Yeah, like you're talking about, the vision has been superb this game. They just find out where everyone is. They've had some nice smoke ganks, and even if they just smoke to ward, that's still what they did, and they did a good job. Now they're going to be finishing Roche here. And to go back to the thing I was stating earlier, it's more so that CDEC had to play 100% perfect, where VG can make mistakes this game and still come out ahead pretty easily, and it's just very hard situation. Like we're saying, CDEC still need the BKBs on Queen of Pain, on Gyro to really even stand in these team fights. Now, if they can get a good hook shot right now, they can turn it around.
He doesn't have mana. He's out of mana with that rocket flare. He's at the fountain.
He's not even there.
And it's got to be Q who has to Icarus dive in for this play, and I just don't see it happening. There's the Roche already going down. He actually denies it.
Queen of Pain? What?
What? I don't know. We're going to see Juggernaut deny it. Okay. Now Fenrir going to go for the 2-man Fisher, and if they can get vision, they'll find a glimpse back.
Is this KYXY? What's going on here?
I don't know, a little bit of panic. I'm pretty sure they kind of saw the Phoenix at the last second there, and just misclick. I mean, he didn't have the item slots. He didn't drop anything. I don't think he was 6 slot, so
yeah.
I can't say he has like right click to deny active or something like that, but
maybe he's always weird things trying to drop something but didn't. It's just so weird.
It certainly is, but in the end, I can't say it's intentional, but in the end, at least it's not stolen. It's just not going to be in either team's hands.
Yeah, it's not the biggest deal. It's not going to cost your team the game. Like, if it costs your team the game, then you're going to feel bad about it, but there's no way that they're gonna feel bad after that. They still got the Roche kill.
Yeah.
They're still pushing high ground here.
It's no KOXY. It's like a Bulba deny more so. It's where you're like, it really sucks. It would feel bad, but they're still in a winning position. Nice cast though. Going to be causing some issues. Pipe is the response, and we're just going to see the Edict break this tier 3 Drax down pretty quickly. So let's look over at buybacks. Dyer has 2, and we'll see how well they can use it. Omni Slash coming out. Big damage onto his clock where he's already out of the fight. Gyrocopter caught in that kinetic static, unable to BKB. He buys back instantly, trying to get back into it, while Shiki goes man mode, but nobody can get a kill. Not a single one of them can do anything against this chain of disabled and this massive damage coming out from VG Gaming. They make it a quick 2-0 and some celebratory TPs here. It's a 22.5-minute victory, not even much shy of their game 1. They are just able to dominate so hard here, and it looks mighty fine. VG Gaming guarantee themselves at least $20,000 here by winning the quarterfinal, knocking CDEC out of the single elimination playoff bracket. And at this point, they're not just looking at that 4th place prize. They're probably looking for their next opponent, looking to try to take this all the way to first.